Hi everyone, this is Niharika from YLCC. YLCC, that is Your Legal Career Coach, is a mentorship platform for law students. On our YouTube channel, we share interview discussions with students and industry professionals. In today's session, we have with us team representing National Law University Jodhpur, comprising of Fatema Kinkhabwala, Yash Joshi, Avani Sirsikar, and Rajas Pathak, who have emerged as the winners of the South Asian regional rounds of the 17th Oxford Monroe Prize Media Moot Court Competition organized by the University of Oxford, and subsequently emerged as the semi-finalists in the world rounds of the same. Firstly, big congratulations, team, for your success in this prestigious competition. Before we begin talking about your journey, I request you to please introduce yourselves to the audience.
Hi, Niharika. So I'm Fatima. I'm a fifth-year student at NLU Jodhpur, and I was a speaker at the competition.
Hi everyone, I'm Yash. I'm a fourth-year student at NLU J, and even I was a speaker at the competition.
Hello everyone, I'm Avani Sirsikar. I'm currently a third-year student at National Law University Jodhpur, and I participated as a researcher in this competition.
Hi everybody, this is Rajas Pathak. I'm a fourth-year student at National Law University Jodhpur, and I participated as a researcher in the competition as well.
Great. To start off the discussion, please tell us about the structure of this competition and about your team composition.
Yes, thank you for that question, Niharika. Firstly, the structure of this competition was divided into 3 levels. We were first supposed to clear the memorial qualifier round. Out of roughly 30 teams, 12 teams were selected on the basis of their memorial scores, which we had prepared in the course of a few months. After that, these 12 teams appeared for the South Asian rounds. There were roughly 4 to 5 countries in the South Asian regional rounds, out of which 3 teams got the chance to represent their countries at the international rounds. This was roughly the structure.
Right. And what about the next rounds, the world rounds, if you could tell anything?
Yeah, sure. So at the world rounds, all the countries from different regions were pitted against in 3 preliminary rounds. Firstly, then they qualified to the octas, the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and subsequently the finals. So the competition was tougher at the international level since teams from various regions were pitted against each other.
Right. So preparation for a moot must definitely be a long journey. Can you break down your preparation journey for us in terms of your research and also your presentation strategy, so to say?
Yes, sure. So as international competitions generally have a longer timeline as compared to national competitions, we roughly started around our pre-readings around April or May 2023. However, the release of the proposition was quite delayed due to some problem on the part of the national round organizers. However, the proposition for the competition was released around late September, and we got almost 2.5 to 3 months to work on the memorial. We submitted various drafts to our coaches and improvised our memorials throughout these months. And by the end of December, we finally submitted both the memorials together for the memo qualifier rounds. Then around the end of January, we got to know that our memo had made us eligible to participate in the South Asian regional rounds. We roughly got around 10 days, a week to 10 days to prepare for those rounds. The oralists were expected to present arguments for those, and the rounds went along for 2 to 3 days, in which again there were preliminary rounds, semi-finals and finals, out of which 3 teams were selected this year. And then we again got around 2 months to prepare for the international rounds, which were conducted in April 2024 at the University of Oxford. So that was the timeline of our journey. And since you asked about how we went ahead with the preparation, we had taken the help of coaches from our college as well as outside, and they help us prepare our memorials and then also brainstorm with us, taking our mock rounds and helping us, go through the host of questions that could possibly be posed to us at all the levels, which made us holistically prepared for anything that could come our way. And I think that was a really important point in our journey, and the right decisions made at those points made us advance to future rounds.
Any speaker insights on this question about the presentation strategy?
So I think we wanted to be very simple about the structure of our speeches, because when you do present a topic as complex as media law with an AI element, so we had an AI element in our problem, and that's something that goes beyond the legal framework. So because of that, we had to really break down how an AI would function to a lawyer, and that entire perspective was only gained through giving rounds to a lot of legal professionals as well as professionals with tech knowledge. So that preparation really helped in us understanding the technical side of our problem, which is not just a legal technical side. And honestly, for us, the more rounds we did, the better our preparation became. We would create multiple compilations on EU laws, on AI laws, on like every possible legal framework that was applicable. We had created our own compilations for the same. So I think that during the rounds itself was also a very important preparatory guide.
Right. As in when you progress to the subsequent rounds, your approaches changes according to the feedback that you get from, it can be from your peers, from your mentors, or from the judges. So how did your approach to preparing for the subsequent rounds change from the one that you went to the competition with?
Can I take this, Fatima? Yeah. So I think
Yes, yeah.
a huge change that we did while going from the regionals to the international rounds is we had to take a more holistic perspective of the moot, right? So rather than going into the intricacies, as Fatima rightly said, making it too technical, we took a more policy-based approach and actually looked at the larger implications of how artificial intelligence is affecting media law presently. So giving practical examples in the field, coming up with some scientific arguments in a legal moot. I mean, it sounds unconventional, but at the end of the day, it's a mixture of all these fields that sets your team apart. So I think that was a heavy change we took. We made it more policy based. We made it a discussion based mood rather than us just speaking upon technicalities. And I think that helped us a lot in the international rounds. It helped us resonate with the judges and strike conversation, which actually helped us even after the rounds in getting to know new and interesting people. If you guys have anything to add.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so we were
our
presenting our
Fatma, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Rajas. So we were presenting our arguments before the people from various jurisdictions, with English also being a barrier because a lot of them were not English-speaking countries. So the way we spoke, the way we presented our arguments changed pretty drastically at the international round stage, because we realized using extremely technical, even English words, was something that would be a barrier to understand for a judge who's also not from an English-speaking background. So I think that's one thing, at least from the side of our speaking, that we made a change with.
Yes, Rajas.
Yeah. So our regional rounds were conducted in February from 8th to 11th February, and the world rounds were sometime in April. So uh, there was a lot of time in between both these rounds, and we had to also keep an eye on the upcoming legislations, as artificial intelligence is largely unregulated right now, but more and more countries and unions keep on coming with certain recommendations, guidelines, or even acts. So the Artificial Intelligence Act of the European Union was officially passed in the month of February. So we had to also tweak certain arguments with respect to the AI Act. So that was an important uh, point in our preparation, wherein we had to tweak our arguments, we had to go into certain technicalities, and then, as Yash said, convert it into a more conversational argument style.
Right. Can you share any memorable courtroom moments or highlights from your experience in the competition?
Um, I think I'll keep it balanced. I'll share a good memory and a little conflicted memory. So let's start with the conflicted one first. Um, I think Fatima left. Should I just continue?
Yes, please.
So, I mean, as speakers, we have our own opinions, and the team, everyone has their own opinion. And a majority of the time, I think we were able to balance those opinions quite well. But as a team, a lot of times you're not able to play that balancing game. And I think for everyone who will be watching this, that's completely okay. A thing I can remember is my fight with Fatima because before one day before the our international rounds, we disagreed on a point. And I think coming back from that stage and actually being able to reconcile and speak as a single unit the next day is something I will remember. I mean, even in my future moods, even in my future journey. And I think another thing you remember in the moot court journey, apart from, of course, speaking and spending time with your team, is the memories you make along the way. So before, like one day before our round, we were roaming around some random mall in Oxford and just opening up and like having coffee and talking about the mood are some of the memories that I mean you're bound to remember when you finish the mood. And at the end of the day, your team becomes your friends. And I think that's a transition that I mean I was lucky to have in this team.
I can just add on to what Yash has pointed out. Since our moot was in Oxford, it was a really beautiful place, and roaming around in Oxford would not like seem such a big part of our journey. But one day we just took a casual stroll from the venue of our competition to a place where we were supposed to have an informal event, and the view was so beautiful. It was so natural and it felt so nice just to take a stroll there that was an unforgettable part of my journey.
Right. So, beyond legal arguments, what non-traditional skills or approaches do you believe were crucial to your success in this competition?
Okay, I'd like to take this question now. So, firstly, intense all-round preparation. I would here like to emphasize upon the readiness of the speakers and how quick they were on their feet. So, obviously, when you are speaking, you don't anticipate each and every question. So, I would really like to commend Fatima and Yash's ability to quickly think on their feet based on their preparation, such that they were able to fend each and every question. Secondly, uh, just bring in the practicality aspect in the arguments. For example, uh, comparing it with the current geopolitical scenarios, bringing in very relevant examples, sharing anecdotes. For example, in one regional round, Yash brought up a water jug argument to explain the difference between recklessness and negligence, and that was something completely unanticipated by the team because we hadn't exactly prepared for that. But again, Yash was posed that question and he fended it off very well. Thirdly, never let setbacks actually set you back, because there are obviously are a lot of disagreements, the arguments within the team, because you literally spend like 6 months with each other, and there are bound to be disagreements. So treat these disagreements as disagreements and not as something that completely puts you off the entire journey. So these were three major takeaways that I had from this competition. If anybody else wants to add anything.
So,
I just, yeah, Fatima, go ahead.
just like a 30-second additional primer to what Rajas mentioned. Something that really set us apart was practical solutions and analogies. So most people think that the black letter of the law is all you really need to know. But an analogy often helps someone explain the principle of the law better than law itself. Merely stating what the law is not where your journey ends. It's that going a step beyond and seeing how its implication would be in real life that really helps push your point forward in an argument. And that's something that we try to do with everything that we brought up. In terms of like fending off questions, we did like we would think if I say ABC thing, potential questions that could come up, and listen to the scope of questions that we would be dealing with and really fend them off on the spot.
Yes, Avni, go ahead.
Yeah, just giving a third person perspective as a researcher, I feel that what Rajas said, I agree with it completely. Our speakers, what made them stand out, apart from the other teams, was their ability to improvise on the spot. We were told by our coaches that what you want to say is not just the only important thing, it's to convince the judges, and what they want to hear is what is going to fetch you marks. So a lot of times, teams preparing don't understand this well enough because they have a set pattern of everything they have to go through. But it's important to make effective what you're saying rather than covering all that you have, thought of conveying to the judges. So I think that's something that really set them apart.
Right. Lastly, in one line, if you all could tell us what learning did you take back home, and also if you have any advice that you would like to give to law students aspiring to participate in such competitions.
I think I'll go first. The learning I took from this is just keep on going. Each day is an opportunity to grow and learn new things. And I think an advice I would like to give is don't take anything too personally. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small. If you believe it, you can definitely achieve it. And at the start of the mood, it seems as though there are so many layers. How will we go through each of them? But when you actually do it, it's like I did it and I could do it. So just look at the next day and try your best. That's all I have to say.
For participants of this particular competition, so Oxplay is a very logic-based competition. So you don't have to be all formal and 100% be within the set rules and go around a strict moot court format that is prescribed. But you have to improvise, you have to use your logic, you have to use practical examples. And that's why even being in tune with the current events, geopolitical scenarios is very important while dealing with this move, and even in the preparation of arguments and during their presentation.
If I can go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I just want to tell that this was my first moot, and having done this moot as a second year, I had a lot of anxieties as to how to approach your first moot, that to an international one. I was really anxious about how it would go. But I would just like to tell anyone who might be thinking of taking this or any other international moot that consistency is the key. And you also should start early because it gives you an advantage. The depth of your research shows in all of your arguments, and it is not how it's not about the result, because moods and real life also at the end of the day is very arbitrary, and it's the effort that counts.
Absolutely. Do we have Fatema?
So I personally think doing a moot like Oxprize, your takeaways are so much more than the law you have learned. For instance, we found out that something in the moot, a legal development and a technological development that we worked on the moot today has been actually implemented by Instagram itself. So we actually saw our research, our analysis, our hypothesis actually pan out in real life. And I think that was far more rewarding than anything that we did in the moot. So I think these sort of takeaways come when you do interesting moots like the Monroe E Prize Media Moot.
Great team. Thank you for being here. Your insights were incredibly valuable, and I'm certain our audience will benefit greatly from the wisdom you shared. Thank you once again for being here and sharing your experience with us. On behalf of ILCC, I wish you the very best for your journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.